Bring soles together, dropping knees open wide, arms resting down the side. Settle into wherever you'll set yourself up for your class. A few moments just allow natural breath to flow in and out. Class, we are focusing on the fifth yama, which is Aparigraha. And Aparigraha translates as non-grasping or non-attachment. I suppose that's one concept we can start working into with having to do our classes via Zoom at the moment. So it can become quite attached to the comfort of practicing in the studio and with others. And now we're just solely focused on ourselves, our practice. Have the opportunity to really tune in with your breath. And let's bring the hands underneath the knees. Bring the knees up together to touch soles of the feet flattening to your mat. Opening your arms into a T shape, so either extended all the way out or you can cactus the elbows if you prefer. You're going to take a twist through the spine, keeping the shoulders pressing down into the mat, lowering the knees over towards the left side. And bring the knees back up through center as you breathe in. And exhale over to the right. Inhale up through center. So from here, we'll keep the knees bent, the feet pressing down into the floor. Start to draw your right knee towards the chest. Take a half happy baby, holding the outside edge of the foot, drawing the knee to the outside of your ribs. So the left leg can stay bent, or we can start to extend the left leg out along the mat. Just for this posture here in your half happy baby, let's feel the pressure of the hips pressing back into the floor, the weight of the shoulders as they roll back. Now, if you have a strap, you might like to take that around the sole of your right foot. If you don't have a strap, you can hold on to the back of the thigh, the calf, or maybe you can even reach for your trigger grip around the big toe. So as we move into straightening through the right leg, we're going to keep or maintain that connection through the back of the hips and also through the back of your shoulders. We'll start to breathe in, lengthen through the spine, extending the right leg to the sky. And as you exhale, begin to draw the toes further and further up towards your forehead. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepening into the length through your right hamstring. So as we move through this practice of just a little bit of self-study into what non-attachment might feel like for you, and it can present itself in some of our postures. So particularly here with the hamstring, you might find that hamstring's a little bit tighter, and we need to be a little bit more forgiving and compassionate. We don't need to grasp and force it into position. Instead, let's start to just use the activation through the leg, extending high to the sky. We'll keep the hips pressing back into the floor, the same as the shoulders, as you begin to open your right leg up towards the side of the room. So as we open to the side of the room, you also keep kicking the toes up towards your shoulder or your forehead. You only need to come as far to the right side as is comfortable and while maintaining the hips pressing down into the floor. Just notice the length of your spine here, pressing everything back. And start to bring the right leg back up through center. So we've already moved through a spinal twist. So the next position isn't a twist through the spine. It's an opening up through the outside of your glute and also through the back of the right hamstring again. We're going to switch the strap into the opposite hand, or take the leg in the opposite hand. Use your right thumb, press it down into the crease of your hip, keep yourself grounded, and we'll begin to pull the right leg across the front of the pelvis. So the points of sensation here might feel a little bit higher on the back of the hamstring. You might also feel that on the outside of the hips or the glutes. And then back through center, then rebend the left knee, foot flat to the floor, and then crossing the right ankle across the top of your left thigh. We can take the strap off the foot, flex the toes back towards the knee, and then we'll start to draw the knees in towards the chest, into your figure four position. Hips and shoulders still pressing back into the floor. Maybe even adding a little rock here from left to right. We're really getting into the hamstrings and hips nice and early. Start to create a little space there, a little release. And rather than talking or thinking about when we're working with non-grasping as perhaps you could think about that concept of letting go. Rather than letting go, let's just think about letting be today. Just letting be, wherever the body wants to go, or whatever the limitations are, that's fine. Work with those limitations and allow the breath to continue moving. Releasing the left knee, bringing it down to the floor. So both feet flat to the floor, knees are bent. And we'll do our half happy baby on the left side. Left knee draws to the chest, take hold of the outside edge of the foot. Foot high to the sky, and then begin to draw the knee down to the outside of the ribs. And if you'd like to extend through the right leg, we'll start to straighten that out along the floor. And keeping the hips and shoulders anchored back into the mat, maybe adding just a little rock from side to side. And then let's prepare to lengthen through the left leg. So it's either the strap coming here around the sole of the left foot, or maybe you're taking hold of the thigh, the calf, or you're taking a trigger grip on the big toe. Whichever position you're coming into, we're using the activation through the leg to create the opening or engagement. The hands just here to gently guide it in the direction. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, through your leg. Exhale, start to kick the toes up towards the floor. The connection to the earth maintains here through the hips and shoulders as we start to open the leg up towards the left side. Again, only need to go as far as is comfortable or within the limitations of your body, as we're quite early in the class. Just exploring the space. We'll come back up from center. We'll switch the strap over or the leg into the right hand. Using the left thumb this time, drive it down into the crease of the hip, keeping yourself anchored down into the mat. We're crossing the left leg over the front of the pelvis. And as you return through center, rebend the right knee. Figure four, taking the left foot over the top of the thigh, turning toes back. Reaching through, taking hold of either the back of the thigh or shin as you draw the knees in towards your chest. So maybe a little rock from left to right. And then we'll release the legs. So two options from here. You can roll over onto your side, make your way to a 4-point kneeling position, or option 2, taking the knees to the chest, you'll begin to create those rock and rolls all the way through the spine, so from the tailbone all the way to the shoulders, and eventually creating enough momentum here to cross the ankles, ground the hands, roll over the knees, and take the knees back underneath the hips. So once we're in our 4-point kneeling position, we'll take a few rounds of cow and cat. So let's take 4 rounds and the option to build Ujjayi breath from here. As you inhale, tailbone to the sky, extending through the spine, lift the heart forward, roll the shoulders back, looking forward. As you exhale, tailbone tucking into the body, belly button draws into spine, spine lifts up between the shoulder blades, chin towards the chest. Inhale, extending through the spine, looking forward, open. Exhale, round and arch. The next 2 rounds, you might like to tuck the toes. Inhale forward. Exhale. One more time, breath in. Exhale. From here, returning to a neutral spine. Hands or fingers are spread wide on the mat, gripping through the fingertips, knuckles, and the palms of the hands, tucking the toes if they aren't already, beginning to press the hips high to the sky into downward facing dog. And we'll take a moment there to walk out through the feet, pedaling from left to right. So in life, we can often become attached to certain expectations or things that we sort of set, or we sort of tell ourselves, oh, this is going to happen. And then when there's that disappointment or dissatisfaction, when things don't quite turn out the way that we expect. So Parinamavada is, in yoga, translates to everything is in a constant state of flux. So change is the only constant thing that we can expect in life. As your walking motion starts to slow through the legs, you'll take 3 breaths here. Stationary downward facing dog. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Breath in nose. Exhale. Take 1 more breath in. Exhale. Right leg high to the sky. Right foot steps through between the hands. Let's lower the left knee to the mat, toes taped, staying tucked, and arms sweeping to the sky. Cactus the arms, elbows bend, shoulder blades back. Inhale, reach high to the sky. We'll take a side bend to the right. Exhale, right hand down by your side, left arm overhead, breath in, and exhale. Both arms sweep to the sky. Both hands come down to the floor. We'll step both feet back into a kneeling position. From here, we'll start to lower the chest and chin to the floor. And then scoop and sliding through, baby cobra, tops of the feet flatten. Pelvis to the floor, belly button draws in, shoulders back, heart looking forward. Big toes together to touch, knees nice and wide, hips back to the heels. And downward facing dog, tucking the toes and extending through your legs. And from downward facing dog, left leg high to the sky. Left foot steps through between the hands. Right knee lowers, toes stay tucked, arms sweep to the sky. Cactus the arms, exhale. Arms reach high. Side bend to the left, left hand by the side, right arm overhead. Hold for a breath in. Hold for an exhale. Both arms sweep to the sky. Both hands come back down to the floor. This time we'll step back to a high plank. So lifting the right knee, stepping the left foot back. So in our high plank, you can take another round of knees, chest and chin. Or maybe moving into your first chaturanga, bending at the elbows. Elbows brush the ribs. Lift and open into baby cobra or your upward facing dog. So this time, in upward facing dog, we'll firm the thighs, lift the hips, bring the heart through the arms, and pressing all the way back, either to child's pose first, or straight to your downward facing dog. And downward facing dog, looking towards the hands, and taking small steps all the way through to the front of the mat. We'll start and end here in ragdoll, a slight bend in the knees, dropping the head forward, maybe taking hold of the elbows and swaying a little from side to side. Hands release to the floor, chin to the chest, belly button draws in, rolling up through each vertebrae as you rise to standing. And we'll sweep the arms up and overhead, pressing the palms of the hands together, looking towards your thumbs. The prayer lowers down, thumbs brushing through your third eye, across your throat, to your heart, and to your Tadasana, arms down by your side. Arms sweep up and overhead, palms press. And then hinging from the hips, folding into your Uttanasana over straight legs. Holding Uttanasana for 3 breaths. Inhale, press through the floor, lift the hips a little higher. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, bringing the hips forward, hips over heels, a little more weight into the toes. And then exhale, folding forward. One more breath in. Exhale. Taking a half lift, hands sliding up the shins, straightening through the spine, rolling the shoulders back. Exhale, hands returning to the floor. And step the left foot to the back of the mat into a low lunge to begin. Use the fingertips, grip the floor, pull the heart through. And then grounding through the hands, stepping both feet back to high plank. An option here to move through your flow, or you can press straight back into your downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, right leg high to the sky. Right foot steps through between the hands. This time we'll keep the back knee lifting off the mat as we sweep the arms up into a high lunge. So in a high lunge, bring a slight bend through the back knee, square the hips forward, reach up through tips of fingers, maintaining this connection here through the pelvis, navel, and lower rib, so the engagement through the core. Extending through the back leg as the arms sweep back into arrowhead, big exhale, shoulder blades squeezing back, heart looking forward, lengthen all the way through the left heel up through the crown of your head. So we'll keep holding this strong arrowhead position as the left arm sweeps forward, reaching towards the front of the room. So chest can keep facing towards the front of the room here, or we can add a twist, draw the shoulder blades together, and opening the chest towards the right side of your mat. Might even like to add a reverse here, flipping the left arm and reaching it high to the sky. The right hand can slide down the left leg. Arms will stay open wide to windmill all the way through center, front of the room to Warrior 2. So in our Warrior 2, widening the stance. So the stance is long enough that we're going to drop a little bit deeper into the right thigh, but still short enough to be able to engage through the legs and squeeze them towards the middle of the mat. We'll keep the torso centered directly above the hips, rolling the shoulders back and reaching the arms out at shoulder height. Palms continue to face down, and just the biceps rotate to the sky. Flip the front palm and reverse your warrior, sweeping it high to the sky. Hold here for the exhale, reaching back a little bit further. Windmill both hands down to the inside of your right foot. So we're down into a lizard lunge position. Let's start by lowering the left knee, untucking the toes, rolling the shoulders back and bringing the heart forward. We can bring a little more opening into the hip here as we press into the left hand and bring the right to the inside of the thigh, shifting onto the blade edge of your right foot. Add a little twist, opening the heart to the sky. Maybe working into that quadricep stretch. So as we start to bend the left knee, bring the hips forward, roll off the kneecap onto the top of the thigh, and reaching towards the back foot. You can even kick the foot into the hand here. And then we'll release from the bind if you're taking the bind. Both hands come down to the inside of the right foot. We'll step through for your squatting position, Malasana. So tuck the left toes, lift the left knee, and then step the left foot through to the outside of the hands. Reaching the palms forward, pressing them together as you draw the prayer to heart, elbows collect the knees. Drawing the knees apart, pulling the sternum through towards your prayer. Lengthen all the way through the spine as you breathe in, and then start to draw the sit bones and the hips down towards the earth. And release the prayer, pressing the palms of the hands into the floor. As you straighten through the legs, heel turn the feet back together into your halfway lift, hands sliding up shins, and then folding forward, exhale. Rolling through the vertebrae to standing, arms sweeping overhead, palms pressed. And as the prayer lowers, thumbs pass through third eye, throat to heart. Exhale, arms down by your side. Sweeping them overhead, palms pressed together against your thumbs. Uttanasana, folding forward, straight legs, exhale. Chair pose, bending into your knees, sinking the hips back, and then sweeping the arms towards the sky. So a little refinement for our first round through chair is to draw the knees back until the toes are visible. Perhaps even here, tucking the pelvis under, drawing the belly button in, support the lower back, bring more opening through the heart space, lift it forward, arms reach to the sky. Reach all the way up to the tips of fingers, maybe taking your chair a little bit deeper as you exhale. Breath in, exhale. One more breath. Before we fall forward over straight legs, exhale. Half lift. And either moving through your flow, actually no, we're stepping the right foot back to the back of the mat. We'll start in our low lunge. So pressing fingers into the floor, rolling the heart forward. And then the option to move through your flow. We ground through both hands, both feet back, or we can press straight to downward facing dog. So we're downward facing dog, left leg high to the sky, left foot steps through between the hands. High lunge, rounding through the feet, slight bend through the right knee, arm sweep. And then holding here for the exhale. Again, we just check that alignment here, hips, navel, lower rib, arm sweep to the sky. Arrowhead on the exhale, straightening through the back leg, arms reaching back, shoulders squeezing back, heart lifts forward. And then just the right arm sweeping towards the front of the room. So we can stay with the heart facing forward or add the twist, rotating the chest towards the left side of the room. Maybe adding the reverse, reaching the right arm to the sky as the left arm sweeps down the back leg. Arms stay wide, windmill all the way around into your warrior two. Adjusting the stance to drop down nice and deep into warrior, but keeping the legs short enough that you can get that squeeze or activation. Reach up through tips of fingers. Keep the palms of the hands facing down. Just the biceps rotate up. Legs stay in the same shape as you flip the front palm, reverse the warrior breath in, and holding through exhale. Breath in. Windmill the hands down to the inside of the left foot. Once the hands touch down, right knee lowers to the mat, and the toes on top. So we can add the twists, grounding through the right hand, left hand comes to the inner thigh, maybe dropping onto the blade edge of the foot. If you'd like to take the quadricep stretch, then as we bring the hips further forward, we're bending the right knee, reaching back, taking hold of the foot. So that bind allows you to move a little bit deeper into your twists. Rotating through both arms here, externally rotating to draw the shoulders back and lift the heart higher. And then releasing the right foot, both hands come down to the inside of the left. We're returning to the squatting position, the Lasana. So we'll step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Sit the hips down low towards the earth. Palms pressed together. And prayer draws back. Shoulders drawing back. Let's add a twist this round. Press the right hand down into the floor, tricep to the inner thigh, and left arm sweeps to the sky. We'll bring that external rotation through the arms to lift the heart. Left hand comes back down, replaces the position of the right as the right hand sweeps to the sky. Right hand down to the floor. Option one from here as we ground through the hands. You might prefer to hug the elbows in, bring the weight forward into the fingertips, allow the heels to lift, and use the fingertips to ground the heels back to the floor. Or if you'd like to move all the way through to your arm balance, your crow pose, we'll bring the knees to triceps, bring the shoulders forward until they're just about beyond the fingertips, and from that point the feet can start to get nice and light, and you draw them up in towards the hips. And wherever you choose to go for 3 breaths, we'll hold, inhale, exhale. Breath in, exhale. One more breath in. And then we'll release on the exhale by the step, jump, or floating the feet to the back of the mat. Take that through your vinyasa. Meeting in the resting posture, which could either be downward facing dog, or maybe you lower the knees and take in the child's pose, hips back towards the heels. Moment here to reset and reconnect with your breath. And as we just take a few moments in this resting posture, we're going to share a passage here from Krishna, which goes, let your concern be with action alone, and never with the fruits of action. Do not let results of your actions be your motive, and do not be attached to inaction. So when we're working with attachments, well, actually when we're working with anything, probably the place where your mind would go to first is that concept of pushing too far or going too far, like being attached to the results or a goal or a vision. But as with all things, there's this balance and it goes both ways. So we can also be too attached to inaction or attached to that place of comfort. And we rarely explore the possibilities or further options. And it's all about getting a little more comfortable with your edge or that point of balance. The balance isn't sitting still and it's not toppling over, it's that in between. So we might find ourselves at different points in time sitting on either end of that equation. And so I always say that your asana practice or your yoga practice is a nice opportunity here in the safety of the mat to maybe start to explore those further options. Or maybe if you're always pushing yourself toward that 110%, maybe just coming back and taking some more time to be more restorative and restful with your practice. So our next sequence is all about that balance and maybe choosing your modifications of postures just more determined by the current moment and the current limitations of the body. Rather than thinking that I've done this before, so I'm going to do it again, just think about what can I do now, or what's suitable now. So if you're in a child's pose, we'll make our way into downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, gazing to the hands, also we can add a step or a jump to the front of the mat. So we'll step the feet through the hands and take a halfway lift. We'll fold forward, exhale. And to chair pose, knees bend, hips lower back, arms sweeping to the sky, palms compressed. And this time we're going to bring the prayer down to heart. Lifting the sternum towards the prayer, so we're creating length and activation through torso. Before we add our twist, we'll twist over the left knee. So either the right hand to the knee, left hand to the hips for a gentle twist, or a deeper twist, the palms pressed together, tricep to the thigh, Before we lift the gaze, let's double check knees are back in line with each other. Do that at the hips. And then lifting the sternum, maybe even lifting the gaze all the way towards the left elbow. Let's have to lower the hips a little deeper. So I had a friend do my class the other night where I did this posture. And then straight away, feedback after the class was, oh, thanks for sharing that story during chair, because it meant we had to hold it for a whole lot longer. So I might not do that same thing with this class. I'll save the story from later on when we're in a more restorative position. So we'll start to bring ourselves back up through center. Hands to prayer. Staying nice and low in your chair, let's start to slide the left leg all the way to the back of the mat. The quadriceps, probably feeling it here, but we'll keep that deep bend through the right knee. And we'll take our twist this time over the right leg into a revolved lunge. So again, it can either be tricep to the thigh, or you can take that gentle twist with the left hand to the knee and the right hand to the sacrum. Counter rotating the hips towards the front of the room. Here we can draw the belly button in even more, give yourself a little bit more space to twist. Maybe lift the gaze, maybe then here open and extend through the arms. Right hand to the floor. Also maybe left hand to the floor, right arm to the sky. I'm adding that external rotation through the arms to really open the chest high. If the arms are open, palms pressed together at the heart, back through center, hands to prayer, and then opening into your warrior two. For warrior two, flipping the front palm, reverse breath in, and holding for the exhale. Then expanding through the front leg, breath in, and holding for the exhale. Round through the feet, press into the floor, all the way up through center. Just double check the external rotations through the legs. As we enter Trikonasana, pressing through the feet, reaching forward. Right hand comes down to either the shin, the floor, or if you have another prop or block, left arm extends high to the sky. Squeeze the legs together. So feel the glutes, not only they're activating from squeezing together, but they're active because of the external rotation through the legs. Breath all the way up through the body. No posture should limit your breath. The breath should determine the depth of the posture. And there's an option to move deeper here. Maybe with the left arm extending overhead until the palm flattens down. And if you can hold here with a nice flowing Ujjayi breath, then maybe the right arm then also joins as you reach out through the tips of the fingers. One more big breath in. Opening the arms wide. Bring both hands down to the soft bend into the right knee, and we'll frame up the front leg. Lower the left knee to the floor, untuck the toes, and then half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. We'll extend the right leg. Bring the hips back until they sit directly above your right knee. Toe tips drawing back. Bring the heart high and forward, and then hinging forward with this exhale. So if I just refer to that passage from Krishna about not being so concerned with the results of the action, just being in the action of itself. And it's something I can really relate to. I can actually, when I've worked through all of the yamas over the last few weeks, there's been aspects when I'm like, that in my life, I could see that can use a little bit of work. And particularly here with this idea of not being too attached to the results of the actions. So for a long time, I can now identify and recognize that I was very much an approval junkie. I just would do things for the sole purpose of getting praise. And I could see that also see that in my yoga practice, where I'd purely just be doing postures because I knew that they would look cool and people would say something. But then how much does that action serve us, particularly when we can think about when we don't receive that expectation of that praise or the approval that we were seeking? So rather than feeling good about what we've done, we actually feel bad, like, well, what was the point? Whereas if we're fully just involved in the moment of whatever we're feeling, there's so many more benefits here, just like hanging out in the half split. We'll transition our half split through to half pigeon, lengthening the spine. We're taking half pigeon, we'll face towards the other side of the mat. We'll start to walk the hands around the left side of the mat. We're also going to swivel on the left knee all the way until the shin becomes parallel with the back edge of the mat. Pose a flex. We'll stay upright, squeezing through the hips. Now kicking the back leg into the floor. Hands can stay grounded, or we can float the arms. You might even like to bring the hands to rest on the back of the hips. And then we'll bow forward and exhale. Inhale up. Exhale down. Breath in. Exhale. Breath in. Exhale. Hands to the floor, torso comes up. We're going to tuck through the right toes. We'll stand the left leg high to the sky, three-legged dog. And then both feet come into downward facing dog. Take a moment, 3 breaths. And then we'll look towards the hands and we'll step or jump the feet to the front of the mat. Halfway lift. Folding forward, exhale. Knees bend, hips drop back, chair pose, arms sweep to the sky. Palms press together, prayer lowers the heart. Inhale, lengthen. So we're taking our first twist over the right leg. It's either the left hand to the knee, right to the sacrum, or the palms keep pressing, triceps to the thigh. A little glance down here, knees draw back in line, belly button draws in, shoulders drawing back, and then maybe starting to lift the gaze into your chair twist. Maybe sinking hips deeper in the chair. We'll stay nice and low through the legs as we bring the prayer to heart and back through center. And then start to slide the right leg to the back of the mat into your high lunge. Taking the twist over the left leg. Belly button draws in, hips counter rotate in the opposite direction. We can also open the arms here. Moving into your modification or extension of the posture, whatever serves you. I suppose that's the benefit of doing these online classes, is now we're no longer looking around the room and seeing what other people are doing. We can just be solely focused on what we're practicing. If the arms are open, the palms press back together, nice and slowly up through center. And into your warrior 2, grounding the back foot, opening the arms up at shoulder height. Flipping the reverse warrior. Holding for the exhale. Extending through left leg. Holding for the exhale. Pressing through the feet. Nice and slow up through center. A slight adjustment through the external rotations of the legs. Reaching forward, Trikonasana, left hand to the shin, floor, or maybe to the floor as you reach out through the arms. Feet press firmly into the mat. Right hand floats overhead. If the breath continues to flow, the left hand can join. Core switched on. Press feet down. Squeeze through your glutes. Open the arms wide. Soft bend into the left knee. Both hands come down to frame up your left foot. Right knee lowers to the mat, toes untucked, half splits. This time the left leg extends. Set the hips directly above your right knee. Lift the heart forward. Bowing forward, exhale. Into half pigeon, where we'll return to face towards the front of the mat. So hands walking around the right side, swiveling on the right knee, and standing the left leg to the back of the room as we square up through hips. Hands can stay grounded, or our hands can float. They can even rest on the back of the hips. Breath in, bowing forward 4 times. Exhale. Breath in. Exhale. Breath in. Exhale. One more time, breath in. Exhale. Hands to the floor, left toes tucked, right leg high to the sky, 3-legged dog. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Let's walk the feet all the way in towards the hands at the front of the mat into your halfway lift. And we'll fold forward on the exhale. Belly button draws in, roll through the vertebrae standing, arms sweeping overhead. And palms press and prayer lowers the heart. From your standing position, bring the balance over into your right foot and start to draw the left knee up towards the chest. So a strap might be handy here as we move into our Uttita Hasta Padangustasana, so extended hand to big toe. But first we're just going to start with the activation, drawing the knee in. So this is almost like we're in a happy baby back on the mat where we started the class. Lengthen through the spine, open through the shoulders, level through hips. Option 1, hold the knee. Option 2, trigger the big toe, or maybe we'll take hold of the strap. So rather than forcing the foot up into the extended leg position, we're going to use the length of the leg to kick the foot up into the hand. Square and level the shoulders back. Open and check in with the breath. So you can hold center, or you can start to open up towards the left side of the room. You can come back through center. And just as we did when we're laying on the mat, the hips stay facing forward. We'll switch hands on the foot or the strap. We can use the free hand here to press down into the crease of the hip as we pull the leg across the front of the pelvis. We'll come to a figure 4 position here, bending the left knee and crossing the ankle over the thigh. Palms pressed together apart. And then we'll start to squat back, almost like you're entering a single leg chair here. Nice and deep down. And I'm just going to do a little swivel. Hopefully I can hold the balance as I turn 90 degrees, so that's pretty good. So we can hold here in this figure 4 squat. Well, there is an option for just one more arm balance. We're going to do it on both sides, which would be to bring the triceps to the front of the shin. We'll hook the left toes around the back of the right arm, hands coming to the floor. So flying pigeon or Aparigraha. We'll bring the weight forward, insert the float, your back foot, and then maybe if you can kick the shin into the arms, you can extend out through the right leg. One of these sides is a little bit easier than the other for me. I think this is my sticky side, so I'll hang out here in the balance. Before I bring the right foot back down, I'll walk the hands back, palms pressed together apart, all the way up to standing. Draw the left knee towards the chest, and both feet down to the floor. Give them a little shake. And let's move on to the other side. So grounding through the left foot, and draw the right knee up towards the chest. I'm going to start by drawing the knee in, flattening the shoulders and hips, standing nice and tall. So option one, we'll keep holding the right knee, or we can trigger grip big toe. Lengthen, stand tall, kick the right foot up into the head. So a few breaths to set your drishti, feel the posture in the body, kick the foot higher, and then we can open to the right side. And we'll come through center, which will switch the hands on the foot or the strap, the right thumb into the crease of the hip, keeping the hip squared forward, pulling the leg through center. As you release, figure four, crossing the ankle over the thigh, toes are turning back, palms press, and we'll start to squat down into the standing leg. And then you're holding here in that figure four position. All the triceps come to the front of the shin. The right toes wrap around the tricep. Fingers to the floor. Floating the left leg. Or maybe even begin to extend the leg out behind the body. Bring the left foot back in. Rounds the floor, palms press, all the way up to standing. Right knee to the chest, both feet lower. A little shake out through it. Take one more chair pose, reaching arms to the sky. Palms press to heart, exhale forward. Halfway lift. And then exhale, fold forward. Knees bend, hips lower back. Chair pose, arms to the sky. A nice strong chair. You can always use the hands for this transition. As we bring in to bring, the sit bones all the way down to the floor, all the way down until we touch down. Then reaching forward, belly button drills to the spine, rolling through the vertebrae one at a time. Nice core control. All the way until the shoulders roll back. And once we're fully reclined on the mat, and we'll set up a bridge. Feet and knees hip width distance apart, heels close enough to brush with the fingertips. Belly button drills in, starting from the tailbone, rolling through the hips, lower back, all the way up to the shoulders, which the shoulder blades start to walk a little closer together. Hands press down into the mat. Maybe interlacing the fingers behind your back, drive the fists into the floor. And now releasing the hands. Slowly rolling each vertebrae all the way back down till the hips touch down. Feet walk as wide as the side of the mat and knees drop in towards each other. Now reset the feet to the hip width distance. We'll come to a second round of bridge. Belly button drills in. Hips begin to roll all the way up. Shoulders walk a little closer, driving back into the mat. So you can either have the hands pressing down, interlaced behind the back, or we can move a little bit deeper this round, a slightly different variation, which will need to open the arms into a T shape at your shoulder height. So we need the arms for that extra support here to begin to lift the right leg to the sky, pointing through the toes. Here the hips stay squared. We're going to start to open the right leg up towards the side. Keep lifting the hips just to whatever level works for you. Sweep the right leg back up through center. And then re-grounding the right foot. Adjust the hips. Left leg high to the sky. Left leg opens to the side, exhale. Left leg to the sky. Left foot to the mat. One more breath in. Rolling through each vertebrae, hips to the floor. Soles of the feet together, knees drop open. Hands coming onto the knees, lifting the knees up together to touch. Taking the feet mat width distance apart. And we'll start our windscreen wiping the knees from left to right. And from here, we start to draw the knees up towards the chest, flattening through the backs of the hips. If you'd like to deepen that into your happy baby, you'll take hold of the outside edges of both feet, lifting the soles of the feet to the sky, knees drawing to the outside of the ribs. You can add a little rock from side to side in your happy baby. And reclining twist. Let's draw the right knee towards the chest, extend the left leg out along the mat, take a big breath in, shoulders back. And then we're twisting towards the left side, exhale. Inhale through center. Exhale, both knees hug to the chest. Inhale, shoulders back, right leg extends. And then exhale, twisting to the right. Inhale through center. Our last exhales, the knees draw in, or taking any final modifications or postures or adjustments, movements. So you're ready to extend that into your final resting chick. And take a Shavasana with the legs extending, arms down by the side, and palms turned up. So a common theme running through all of the yamas is how it always comes back to the breath. So whenever we feel that we might be grasping or holding onto things too tightly, that will often be reflected in the breath. The breath starts to become shorter, or you might notice some unconscious retention working its way into your breath pattern. So just for the first few moments, as we bring awareness back into the body, we can really start to tune into the flow of breath. As you inhale through the nose, allowing that nice full expansion to fill into the body, and the exhale to carry away any tension or any thoughts or anything at all that you're holding on to. The next inhale can start to invite movement to return back through your fingers and your toes. And the exhale, movement starts to travel up through your arms and legs. And full body stretch. As you inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, lengthen through the legs to the tips of the toes. Open mouth sign, releasing your exhale. Knees draw in towards the chest. A nice big hug and a squeeze and rocking from left to right. Rolling over onto your right side and making your way up to your chosen seated position. You'll sit nice and tall, rolling the shoulders back, sweep the arms up and overhead. Arms pressed together and prayer lowers to the heart. And bowing forward as you lift your prayer, thumbs come to rest between your brow. And we say to ourselves and each other, Namaste.